Hello and welcome to the Ghost Town Chronicles. Today we continue our exploration across the United States. Let's discover 10 abandoned military bases of New Mexico. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to help us continue making these series. Number 1. Fort Stanton, Lincoln County. Fort Stanton, located in Lincoln County, New Mexico, is a historic site with a rich and varied history that spans over 160 years. Established in 1855 by the United States Army, it was initially built to protect settlers from Apache raids during the turbulent times of the American frontier. Throughout its operational history, Fort Stanton served multiple roles beyond its military origins. It acted as a military outpost, a tuberculosis sanatorium, a civilian conservation corps camp during the Great Depression, and even as an internment camp for German seamen during World War II. After the war, it continued to serve various functions, including a hospital for the developmentally disabled. The fort is notable for its well-preserved architecture, reflecting military construction styles of the 19th century, and its role in regional and national history, including its association with the Lincoln County War, a famous conflict that involved figures such as Billy the Kid. Decommissioned as a military post in the late 19th century, Fort Stanton's diverse uses over the years reflect changes in American society and government policy. Today, it is managed as a state historic site, offering visitors a glimpse into its multifaceted past through museum exhibits, restored buildings, and guided tours. Number 2. Walker Air Force Base, Roswell. Originally opened in 1941 as Roswell Army Airfield, it played a pivotal role during World War II as a training base for bomber crews, primarily for B-29 superfortresses. After the war, the base was renamed Walker Air Force Base in honor of General Kenneth Newton Walker, a World War II bomber commander who was awarded the Medal of Honor posthumously. During the Cold War, Walker AFB became a strategic part of the United States defense strategy, hosting the Strategic Air Command's bomber units and, later, intercontinental ballistic missiles. An interesting and lesser-known aspect of Walker Air Force Base is its connection to the early days of the U.S. space program and nuclear testing. The base was involved in the testing and development of nuclear weapons, playing a role in Operation Crossroads, which tested nuclear bombs at Bikini Atoll. This involvement in nuclear research and testing made it a critical but secretive location during its operational years. Additionally, Walker is located near Roswell, a city famous for the 1947 Roswell UFO incident. While the base itself is not directly linked to the incident, its proximity to the event and its role in post-World War II military and aerospace activities have fueled speculation and interest in its operations. The base was closed in 1967 as part of a broader effort to reduce military spending. Following its closure, the former base was repurposed for civilian use and is now home to the Roswell International Air Center, a facility that supports commercial aviation and aerospace testing, along with being a significant storage site for retired aircraft. Number 3. White Sands Missile Range, located in southern New Mexico, is the largest military installation in the United States. It was established in 1945, shortly after World War II, primarily as a testing ground for rockets and later for missile technology, playing a crucial role in the development of the U.S. space and missile programs. One of the most significant events in White Sands Missile Range's history is the testing of the world's first atomic bomb, code-named Trinity, on July 16, 1945. This test marked the dawn of the nuclear age and was a pivotal moment in history, leading to the eventual end of World War II after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It is also known for its connection to early space exploration. It was here that the U.S. tested its early rockets and missile technology, contributing to the development of the technology that would eventually send humans to space. Wernher von Braun and his team conducted numerous V-2 rocket tests at White Sands, laying the groundwork for future space flights. In 1947, a V-2 rocket carrying a biological experiment with fruit flies, the first living organisms sent into space, accidentally veered off course and landed south of the Mexican border. This incident highlighted the challenges of early rocket testing, but also marked the first time living creatures returned alive from space, paving the way for human spaceflight. While still partially active, it has several abandoned sections and historical test sites, including the Trinity Site. Number 4. Fort Bayard, Silver City. Established by the U.S. Army in 1866, the fort's primary purpose was to protect settlers and miners in the region from Apache raids during the Indian Wars. Over the years, Fort Bayard played various roles, reflecting the changing needs and challenges of the country. It played a significant role in medical advancements, particularly in the treatment of tuberculosis. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the fort was repurposed as a military sanatorium, capitalizing on the region's dry climate, which was considered beneficial for the treatment of respiratory diseases. This marked a pivotal shift in the fort's function, from a military outpost to a medical facility. Fort Bayard was at the forefront of treating tuberculosis patients and became a leading center for research and treatment of the disease. The facility was one of the first to employ occupational therapy and a holistic approach to patient care, which contributed to the development of modern respiratory disease treatment methods. Another interesting fact about Fort Bayard is its connection to African American history. Buffalo Soldiers, African American troops primarily from the 9th and 10th Cavalry Regiments, were stationed at the fort. These soldiers played a critical role in the Indian Wars and in protecting the southwestern frontier. Their presence at Fort Bayard is a testament to the diverse history of the United States military and its early efforts to integrate African American soldiers into its ranks. Fort Bayard also holds the distinction of having a Medal of Honor recipient, Private Clinton Greaves of the 9th Cavalry, who was recognized for his bravery during an engagement with Apache warriors in 1879. After serving as a military hospital, Fort Bayard continued its medical legacy into the 20th century, eventually becoming a state veterans' home and hospital before its operations were moved to a new facility nearby. Today, the historic site of Fort Bayard is a National Historic Landmark with preserved buildings and a cemetery. Number 5. Fort Union. Fort Union, located in northeastern New Mexico, was a significant outpost of the United States Army from 1851 to 1891. It played a crucial role in the military and economic expansion of the American West, serving as a guardian of the Santa Fe Trail, a major commercial and military artery during the 19th century. One of the lesser-known facts about Fort Union is its role in the American Civil War. Despite its remote location, the fort was strategically important in the Union's efforts to prevent Confederate advances into the Southwest. Fort Union served as a base for Union troops during the New Mexico Campaign in 1862, contributing to the defeat of Confederate forces at the Battle of Glorieta Pass, often referred to as the Gettysburg of the West. Another interesting aspect of Fort Union's history is its architecture. The fort underwent 3 distinct phases of construction, reflecting changes in military needs and strategies over time. The third and final construction phase resulted in a massive fortification, the remains of which are still visible today, showcasing the evolution of military fortification designs in the 19th century. Fort Union was also a hub for cultural exchange and conflict among different communities, including Native American tribes, Hispanic settlers, and Anglo-Americans. It was not only a military post, but also a vibrant community with a complex social life, including traders, laborers, and families. After its closure in 1891, Fort Union gradually fell into disrepair. Today it is preserved as Fort Union National Monument, offering visitors a glimpse into its rich history through ruins, exhibits, and guided tours. Number 6. Fort Craig. Fort Craig, located in Socorro County, New Mexico, was one of the largest and most important military outposts in the American Southwest during the mid-19th century. Established in 1854, it played a pivotal role in the United States' efforts to control the region, serving as a base for military campaigns against the Apache and Navajo peoples, as well as protecting settlers and travelers on the nearby Camino Real and other trails. One of Fort Craig's most significant moments in history was its involvement in the Civil War, particularly during the Battle of Val Verde in February 1862. This battle was part of the Confederate attempt to create a Confederate Arizona Territory. Union forces from Fort Craig, under the command of Colonel Edward R.S. Canby, clashed with Confederate troops led by Brigadier General Henry Hopkins Sibley just north of the fort. Despite being a strategic victory for the Confederates, their inability to capture Fort Craig itself forced them to continue northward, ultimately leading to their defeat in the New Mexico campaign. Another notable aspect of Fort Craig's history is its role in the development of the Camel Corps. The U.S. Army experimented with using camels for transport in the arid Southwest, and Fort Craig was one of the locations where these animals were tested. Though the Camel Corps was ultimately deemed unsuitable for military purposes, it remains a curious footnote in the fort's history. Fort Craig was abandoned in 1885 as the frontier moved westward, and the military's focus shifted from the Southwest to other regions. Today, the site is managed by the Bureau of Land Management and is open to the public for exploration. Number 7. Fort Sumner. Fort Sumner, located in Baca County, New Mexico, is best known for its association with the famous outlaw Billy the Kid. Established in 1862 during the American Civil War, it was originally intended as a military fort to safeguard the region and to manage the Navajo and Mescalero Apache peoples during and after their forced relocation in the tragic event known as the Long Walk. This period marked a dark chapter in U.S. history, with the fort and the Bosque Redondo Reservation it oversaw becoming symbols of the hardship and suffering experienced by Native Americans under U.S. policies of the time. An interesting fact about Fort Sumner is its eventual transformation from a military installation into a civilian settlement after it was abandoned by the Army in 1869. The fort's buildings and land were purchased by Lucian Maxwell, a prominent figure in New Mexico history who converted the area into a ranch. It was at Maxwell's property where Billy the Kid was shot and killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett in 1881, which cemented Fort Sumner's place in Wild West lore. Another intriguing aspect of Fort Sumner's history is its connection to the rich cultural heritage of the American Southwest, serving as a poignant reminder of the complex interactions between Native American communities, settlers, and the U.S. military. Today, Fort Sumner is a site of historical significance, attracting visitors interested in its military past, the Bosque Redondo Memorial, and the grave of Billy the Kid, offering a window into the turbulent times of the American West. Number 8. Fort Selden. Fort Selden, located near Las Cruces in southern New Mexico, was established in 1865 to protect settlers and travelers in the Mesilla Valley from Apache raids. This fort played a part in the broader network of military installations across the American West during a time of expansion and conflict with Native American tribes. One interesting aspect of Fort Selden is its connection to a famous American family. Douglas MacArthur, the future World War II general and Army Chief of Staff, lived at the fort as a child when his father, Captain Arthur MacArthur, was stationed there in the late 19th century. This early exposure to military life undoubtedly influenced Douglas MacArthur's future career. Fort Selden was built using adobe, making it representative of the regional architecture and construction methods of the time. Despite its strategic importance in the late 19th century, the fort was abandoned in 1891 as the threat of Apache attacks diminished and the U.S. Army re-evaluated its frontier defenses. Today, Fort Selden is a state historic site, offering visitors a glimpse into the life of U.S. Army soldiers and their families on the frontier. The ruins of the fort have been preserved, including the adobe walls of the officers' quarters, barracks, and other structures. Number 9. Fort Cummings. Fort Cummings, located in Luna County, New Mexico, was established in 1863 during the Apache Wars. Its primary purpose was to protect travelers and settlers on the nearby Butterfield Overland Mail Route from Apache attacks. Positioned near Cook's Canyon, a notorious site for Apache ambushes, Fort Cummings played a crucial role in the U.S. military's efforts to secure the region. A lesser-known fact about Fort Cummings is its connection to the famous Apache leader, Mangus Coloradas. The fort was near the site where Mangus Coloradas was captured under a flag of truce by U.S. Army forces. This event led to his death, which further escalated hostilities between the Apache tribes and the United States. Fort Cummings was abandoned and reoccupied several times throughout its history, reflecting the changing dynamics of military needs and conflicts in the region. It was ultimately abandoned for the last time in 1886, as the Apache Wars drew to a close and the frontier moved westward. Today, little remains of Fort Cummings. The site is marked by ruins and is a point of historical interest for those studying the military and indigenous history of the American Southwest. Number 10. Fort Union. Fort Union, located in northeastern New Mexico, was established in 1851 as a key military outpost on the Santa Fe Trail, playing a crucial role in protecting the trail and serving as a base for military operations against Native American tribes. It was the largest military installation in the region during its time, and was instrumental in the settlement and development of the American Southwest. Although New Mexico is not commonly associated with Civil War battles, Fort Union was a strategic site for Union forces in the West. It served as a base for campaigns against Confederate forces that sought to control the Southwest, including the pivotal Battle of Glorieta Pass in 1862, often referred to as the Gettysburg of the West. This battle effectively halted Confederate westward expansion. Fort Union also played a significant role in the region's economic and social life. It was not just a military outpost, but also a vibrant community and a hub for commerce, with a large depot that supplied numerous smaller forts throughout the Southwest. The presence of the fort stimulated local trade and interaction between military personnel, Native Americans, and settlers. Another fascinating aspect of Fort Union's history is its architecture. The fort underwent several reconstructions, with the final version being the largest and most complex. The remnants of this last iteration, including the large arsenal, quarters, and hospital, are preserved today within Fort Union National Monument, offering visitors a glimpse into the fort's strategic importance in daily life. Despite its significance, Fort Union was decommissioned in 1891 as the frontier moved further west and the military's focus shifted. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. See you next time for more Ghost Town Chronicles.